Hello and welcome to this Money Control interview with the founder and CEO of Druva, which offers SaaS-based cloud data management and security solutions to organizations such as Pfizer, GameStop, NASA, and more. We're joined by Jaspreet Singh, who joins us all the way from the US. Jaspreet, thank you very much for talking to Money Control. I believe you have raised a new round of funding that values you at over $2 billion. Take us through this round, who the new investor is.
Thank you very much for having me here. So yes, Druva has raised a new round, about $147 million, led by both CDPQ and then Neuberger Berman as two lead investors, as sort of co-lead in this round. And so very excited to be here and very excited to be raising a round and investing in growth as we go forward.
And Jaspreet, what will this be used for? Because I remember when you raised your previous round, you also announced an acquisition of Cloud Lanes, if I'm not mistaken. So this time around, what will you be using this for? Is there a new market, new vertical that you want to go after?
I think in the last 1+ years since we've been in this whole COVID situation, the journey to cloud has been, massively accelerated by a lot of enterprises. We've seen a lot of companies investing in cloud and growing full log, and we've seen a massive growth in our platform as well. We have about 47% growth in our data on our platform, and some of our applications like backup for Office 365 has sort of gone almost 90% year on year up. Right? So really massive growth trend. And we are already investing in a lot of areas of innovation, deeper market access. So this round is doubling down on what we've been doing. We also announced a partnership with Dell as a key player in the market, who's one of the largest players in the market, about 2 weeks ago. So just partnering with them, going all the places we should be in, and going deeper. M&A is always an option. It's nothing you set yourself to do it. There's not a core sort of mandate for Druva. We are investing in growth. In some cases it makes sense to build, some cases it makes sense to partner, in some cases it makes sense to acquire, and so it's definitely an option. We have a very strong balance sheet now, but not necessarily something we've already pre-decided.
You mentioned Dell, and Dell traditionally has been a leader in the private cloud space. So is that something that you will be going after increasingly?
Yes. So Dell, if you look at Michael Dell's mandate, Michael Dell has a big mandate for project, what they call Project Apex. Everything in Dell as a service, a big push towards public cloud. Dell is a dominant player when it comes to enterprise choice for deploying a private cloud or any data protection solution overall. And this is a true good partnership. Dell is an investor in Druva for the last several years. And as Druva is dominantly focused on sort of cloud customers and customers who are investing in cloud, this seems like a great partnership to sort of get cloud-ready solutions into Dell's portfolio and sort of really partner with them on a global basis. So
right.
Yes, very excited about the partnership.
Right. Almost every technology company that we've been speaking to in the last year, has spoken about an increasing cloud adoption. And do you see a lot of opportunity in India as well? The reason why you kind of relocated to the US is because you said the business is there, the clients are there. But do you see the pace accelerating in India as well? Because AWS counts India as a big market. They've recently launched a new product targeted at small and medium businesses. So in terms of the opportunity that Druva sees in the Indian market, if you can take us through that.
Absolutely. I think India in particular and Asia in general, I think there's a tremendous opportunity. In many, many ways, there's an opportunity for Asia Pac overall to even leapfrog Europe. Because, there's no legacy in terms of large telcos who have large, traditional way of hosting applications or data centers. So the legacy is less and the businesses are booming. Economy, if you look at overall, has been faster, growth rate, especially in the pre-COVID era and hopefully in the post-COVID era as well. So there's definitely a lot of possibility and opportunity in Asia Pac in general and India in particular. So yes, and we have responded with almost 4x increase in our team size in India in particular, and doing some really good business and strong partnership with the with AWS. I was on a call with Puneet last week, and we were talking about, the head of AWS for India, and talking about plans for go-to-market in the upcoming year. So very excited about partnership with AWS.
Right. You mentioned the 4x increase in your team. In fact, war for talent, war for technology talent is the other theme that a lot of CEOs are talking about. So take us through your own hiring plans and how difficult is it to hire in such a market? Because IT, MNCs, hyperscalers, startups, unicorns, everybody is going after tech talent.
Absolutely. I think talent is core to any company's execution, and really good talent is core to even thinking anything major. If you have to plan something big, at the core of it is culture and talent, right? I think at the core of everything, yes, you have to compete heavily with high quality talent. At the core of it, I believe, is a company's sort of mission, vision, and sort of the core values, right? If you can have a common, a shared mutual understanding with the talent, with the people you would really want to get on board, it really builds a strong connection to sort of build towards a common future, right? In Druva, we take pride of, like, it's still not a super large company, not a super small company, the right size for a person to come in and have a tremendous impact on the customer and how the company's growth has been, right? Versus getting lost in a large company. So it's a healthy balance of a shared mission, a real tangible impact a employee can feel on the customer. And we take pride in hiring some great people across the board. And Grow is really well known across the markets to have some high caliber people, and we continue to strive to build a very strong team.
Right. Jaspreet, how concerned are you about this recent ISG report that spoke about a lower outlook for cloud during the year? They've moderated their outlook. Is this a secular trend, or do you see this? How do you see the ISG report on cloud adoption?
So I'm not completely familiar with the ISG report, but that said, I fundamentally believe so. And Druva was one of the first companies to sort of 7 years ago, 8 years ago, pivot towards public cloud. I fundamentally believe we are in a very, very, very early stages of a very large secular trend, right?
Yeah.
Less than 5% of workloads have actually gone to public cloud. And so it's a large migration behind it. And the core fundamental trends of digitalization, getting your company on an internet, all those fundamental trends which are now impacting some very old school industries, some very traditional industries, is sort of now coming into effect. We see Tesla as a tech company, right, or an auto company, but truly it's a software company, right? So
Yeah.
things like those have just started to come and impact auto, transportation, construction, heavy machinery. Those industries are now getting transformed for a digitalization effort. So cloud is here to stay in the next 20 years or 30 years, and a massive trend behind it.
Right. And as we see migration to cloud and digitization, we're also seeing a lot of security breaches and threats. At least this has been the case among Indian startups over the last 6 months. So, how concerning is this? Is this an additional layer that companies have to increasingly look at? Because Druva looks at security management, data management, other aspects. So is this going to be a big concern that's going to play out going forward?
Could you please repeat the question in terms of concern of a security, or how do you?
No. In terms of concern about security, we've seen many startups talk about how we've seen many security researchers talk about how data is getting leaked into the dark web. Some people related to some AW keys being compromised. There are various factors at play. So is cybersecurity again going to be a huge area of focus? Is it something that enterprises will spend increasingly on going forward? What opportunities do you see there?
I think absolutely. I think security is sort of here to stay as a long trend as well. If what used to be there actually used to be a lot of spending 20 years ago on sort of elements of physical security or even national security, right? Those are now, if there's going to be a new, even in the cross geo level, is going to be a new war. It's going to be a cyber war, not a physical hand-to-hand combat war. So a lot of elements of cybersecurity are gonna really come in as you think through it. The good news is the tool chain is getting simplified, the policy is getting simplified. So there are a lot of new areas of opportunities. The CIOs and CISOs can sort of easily get into a fundamental level of security, and then they can build on top of it. But absolutely to your point, security is Druva's core focus, and there's a lot of customers definitely being going big and deep into it.
Right. And what kind of adjacencies do you think Druva can build on, Jaspreet? For example, data analytics, data intelligence is something that, it's a theme that you've been talking about. So any other adjacencies that you see, considering the size that you are at, the work that you're doing with clients now?
That's a great question. So, data is enterprise most valuable asset. And sort of as storage still depreciates in cost, data actually appreciates in cost over time, right? So we today have over 200 plus petabyte of data under management, almost growing 45 to 50% year on year under our control. So we've been thinking hard about and working with customers and like, how can we make this data work for customers and actually have them utilize this data? By using analytics to actually solve a core use case, which, a data can really unlock a historical account of data. What we really found is that there's certain specific security-oriented use cases, for example, forensics, for example, risk or e-discovery or even cyber compliance, which rely upon core foundation of a good knowledge of data, right? If you're going to have a attacker, place an attack vector in the company, to really understand that attack vector, to really understand the attacker and what really got compromised, you got to have a good holistic understanding of a good nature of data over a period of time. So backup is a great repository for it. It's also a very diverse repository, understanding of multiple applications, multiple users, multiple systems. So we did launch, few of our focused cybersecurity solutions last year, and we'll be increasingly launching more solutions custom built for enterprise to mine this information easily to solve some really hard security problems to be solved across the enterprise.
Right. Jaspreet, one other thing that you've been talking about, I think at least for the last 3-4 years, with every round of fundraising, are your ambitions to become a public listed company. So where are you on that? Is this likely to be, the last round of funding before we see Druva hitting the public market? It's also a great time to go IPO. A lot of Indian internet companies are also talking about it. So do you have a timeline in mind, Jaspreet? Because I think even during the previous round, you said, 12 to 18 months or 18 to 36 months. So are you kind of inching closer towards that ambition now?
I think from a revenue perspective, from a readiness company perspective, the growth perspective, I think we're in the right direction. I think still the plan, still a possibility, definitely to look at public markets. They still seem very attractive for valuations and sort of I fundamentally believe that's still a good option and a good path for Druva to take on. It's very easy to go public and very hard to sort of remain public, and even harder to sort of become private again. So it's a very conscious choice which has to be taken.
I guess Michael Dell can tell you a little about that journey.
Very true. Very true. Right. So I think we just want to be super diligent and make sure we actually are prepared and ready as we sort of think about public markets. So definitely an option, definitely an area of focus, and as we sort of go forward, absolutely.
Right. Final couple of questions. Any revenue run rate number that you are working towards this fiscal? Any milestone that you can share with us?
The milestone I can share with you are in terms of like number of backups and data growth. So we did deliver 2.5 billion backups the last 1 year, which is about almost 100% up. The last time we spoke, we did data on our platform grew about 50%, 46% to be precise, around about 50%. So we have a massive sort of tailwind in terms of data growth and reception of service and customer counts are growing heavily as well. Some of our faster growing products are now growing 90% year on year. So it's a high growth company and really compound and really actually accelerating in its growth as the cloud adoption becomes more and more near and dear to enterprises.
Right. Finally, Jaspreet, it's also a great time to be an entrepreneur in India or any other part of the world because the funding tap doesn't seem to stop, despite what's happening with the virus and the second surge and all that. What do you make of the enthusiasm, the euphoria, the exuberance that you see in the startup ecosystem? And you're seeing this across stages, be it the seed stage, unicorn rounds, or even companies such as yours that are getting additional rounds of funding. Um, does it worry you in some sense because there are also SaaS startups, whose valuations are seemingly out of whack? What do you make of this? Do we have some fundamentals? Is there going to be perhaps a phase of pain? What's your overall sense?
I think secular trends for entrepreneurship and building a startup are stronger than ever before, right? There's a statement of Winston Churchill around never waste a good crisis. So that's what
Yeah.
proved out to be true for COVID, and sort of the fundamentals are very, very strong. I personally get very excited about still the old fundamentals of building a business. Are we solving a real customer pain point? What are you solving for is hard to build and hard to challenge and grow over time. I think resources are important, which is people and money, but resourcefulness is still dominantly more important. Druva could have raised double, triple the amount it is raising in this round. With the demand was high, right? But sometimes more funding kills creativity. It creates a resourcefulness. An entrepreneur, must like a wine must grow in a condition that the grape is starving for life. When the grape starves for life, the taste of wine becomes stronger and denser. When actually the grapes are bigger and the water is there, the winemaker throws the grape out saying it lost its character, right? So this true is still true for entrepreneurship. It must struggle to get life. It must struggle to solve a real customer pain point, and not necessarily, strive to raise a lot of money, which may not always be the right thing to do.
I'm not sure if many entrepreneurs can, turn away from that temptation, but you've been at this for 13 years or 12, 13 years. So I guess you've been there, done that. But on that note, thank you very much, Jaspreet. Especially love the last anecdote you shared between resources and resourcefulness. But thank you very much for joining us on Money Control. And here's wishing you and Dhruva the best for the next phase of your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much.